Okay, so I'll call the April 6, 2020 regular council meeting to order and begin by acknowledging that the land on which we gather is the traditional unceded territory of the Kaitsi-Kwantlen, Masqui, and Semiahmoo First Nations. I'm Mayor Vandenbroek, and with me I have my council members in an unprecedented meeting today. I have Councillor Terry James, Councillor Nathan Pahal, Councillor Gail Martin, Councillor Rudy Storterboom, Councillor Paul Albrecht, and Councillor Rosemary Wallace should be joining us shortly. Did I miss anybody there? Nope. And with me for staff today, I have Darren Light, our Director of Corporate Services, Kelly Kenny, our Corporate Officer, Francis Chung, our Chief Administrative Officer. I also have Carl Johansson, our Director of Development Services, Rick Baumhoff, our Director of Engineering, Parks and Environment, and Kim Hilton, our Director of Recreation, Culture, and Community Services. So, so welcome everybody. I guess it's our new way of doing business now. And first off, I am going to thank staff for keeping things running. Without them, we would be nowhere right now. So truly appreciate them keeping this city running on such short staff and doing what they can to put this together today. So we'll get the adoption of the agenda going, that the April 6, 2020 agenda be adopted as circulated. I need a mover and a seconder. I have Councillor Storterboom and Councillor James. Are there any changes or additions to the agenda? Sorry, folks. I'm just trying to get rid of your little hands there. And for some reason, I cannot get your hands down. Sorry, before I could take your hands away and now I can't seem to. There we go. Maybe that worked better. Okay, so any changes or additions to the agenda? Seeing none, call the vote. All those in favor? Any opposed? Carries. Sorry. Okay, thank you. All right, special meeting minutes from March 23rd, 2020. Motion that the minutes of the special meeting held on March 23rd, 2020 be adopted as circulated. Mover and a seconder. I have Councillor Storterboom and Councillor Pahal. Call the vote. All those in favor? Any opposed? Thank you. Mayor's report, upcoming meetings. The next regular council meeting will be April 27th, 2020 at 3 p.m. So please note we have changed our times from 7 p.m. to 3 p.m. in the afternoon for the time being.
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
Did we do the special pre-closed meeting minutes?
Oh, I'm sorry. I did miss that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Special pre-closed meeting minutes from March 9th, 2020. That the minutes of the special pre-closed meeting held on March 9th, 2020 be adopted as circulated. Mover and a seconder. I have Councillor Albrecht, Councillor Storterboom. Any corrections on that? Seeing none, I'll call the vote. All those in favor? Any opposed? Okay, carries. All right, so already did the mayor's reports. The next two meetings are April 27th and May 11th, both at 3 p.m. coming up. First thing we have up are new and unfinished business. We have stability for the Strata insurance market in BC. Councillor Albrecht.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. A recent spike in insurance rates for Strata buildings have become unreasonable and requires the government to intervention by changes to provincial legislation to mitigate the financial burden on Strata owners. So we've had conversations with Insurance Brokers Association of BC, and they've proposed two reforms to the province's Strata Property Act. The first reform is to include a $50,000 cap on upper loss assessments. The cap would be for deductible assessment and non-insured loss assessment. and would help owners access adequate, affordable insurance products to protect their residences from potentially unmanageable financial loss. The second reform is a change to the standard definition of a strata unit that would ensure the basic components of a condo, like the walls, ceilings, drywall, subfloor, base electrical and plumbing, are covered by strata insurance, whereas any finished items like carpets, countertops, plumbing fixtures, appliances, and upgrades would be the owner's responsibility to maintain and insure. So these types of conversations need to be had between our provincial government and the insurance corporation. And we've seen anywhere from 50% to 300% hikes in strata insurance fees and rates for condos. And of course, they need to be insured in order to keep banks and mortgages alive. It's a common expense. It's approved annually through strata fees, and the spike of insurance rates will increase the homeowners' strata fees, and some owners would see hikes that are very exorbitant. So we can give examples of what that could mean. And we believe that there's a number of things that can be done through communication and conversations between the insurance corporations and the province. Having such things as mandatory education for strata councils so they know how to reduce risks in their buildings. Amend building codes to help buildings prevent extensive water damage, such as requiring water leak detection devices, and pass legislation that will no longer allow stratas to defer depreciation reports and put off long-term maintenance. So there's a number of things, and I believe the province has already begun these conversations, but we really just want to reinforce it. We've got a significant strata population in our community, and there's others in the Lower Mainland that have a high percentage of their living accommodations under the strata issue. So I believe it's going to be something that's going to be hitting the Lower Mainland and having a significant impact. And I know we're dealing with a bigger issue right now, but at the same time, this all adds to the breaking point for residents and taxpayers in the province. So I would hope that people will support this motion going forward, and it's a letter to the province to them to have these conversations with the insurance corporation. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Councillor Albrecht. Did you want to put forward the motion, or would you like me to read it?
Yeah, no, I can put forward the motion however you'd like to do that. So
yeah, if you'd like to go ahead and do that.
Okay, let me just get to it here. Sorry. So the motion is that the City of Langley, that the City of Langley rate to Premier John Horgan and Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing Selena Robinson to urge them to take immediate action to consider the 2 reform proposals put forward by the Insurance Brokers Association of BC to provide stability for the strata insurance market in BC and protect millions of strata owners by mitigating insurance market cycles. I so move.
Thank you. Is there a seconder on that? I have Councillor Nathan Pahal as a seconder. Any discussion, folks? Did anybody want to speak to this? Okay, I don't see anybody's hands raised for any discussion on this. So I'll call the vote. All those in favor? Any opposed? And that carries. Thank you, Councillor Albrecht. Okay, now on to correspondence. We received correspondence from the Greater Langley Chamber of Commerce. It was a request for council to reconsider 2020 increase to the industrial commercial property tax. What is council's wishes on this? I have Councillor Pahal. Go ahead.
Thank you. I would like to move that we send this to staff for consideration and review.
Great, thank you. Councillor Albrecht.
I'm happy to second that.
Okay, I don't think we need a resolution. We'll just refer it back to staff, or it's just correspondence, so thank you. Okay, great. Thanks, folks. Any other discussion on that, or? Nope, seeing none, we'll go on to the Canadian Federation of Independent Business. It was a request for tax utility payment relief for small businesses and nonprofits. So what is council's wishes with this? I believe I have Councillor Bahal again.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I would also propose that we refer this to staff for comment and follow-up.
Great, thanks. Any other discussion on this? Councillor Albrecht, did you want to speak to that?
Just seconding.
Okay. Councillor Martin. You have to.
Yes.
Councillor.
Yeah, I've got it.
Okay.
I thought BC Hydro has already done something on the utilities.
Maybe I can ask staff to clarify that, please.
Your worship, to Councillor Morin, yes, they have, BC Hydro has introduced a deferment portion of their rates, but I think what they're talking about is actually cities' utilities like water and sewer. So they're asking the city to defer the water and sewer billings from this letter.
So in a staff report, you could tell us what the ramifications would be if we did that?
Your worship, to Councillor Martin, yes, we would have a full package with different scenarios for council consideration at the April 27th meeting. And maybe,
Okay.
just maybe I could elaborate, maybe we probably need to have a special council workshop to look at different options as prior to bringing it to council for consideration.
Okay. Thank you. If I could just comment on a workshop, Francis, that's probably a good idea, but I find it, I mean, even thinking that what we're going to discuss later in this format, I think it's difficult. And I know that, you know, the distancing thing is certainly in everybody's mind, but I'm wondering if we do have a workshop, if we could do it in the council chambers and distance ourselves there so we can have staff in the room.
Absolutely. We will look at a form where we can provide adequate physical distancing so that council will be in the room with staff.
Yeah, I think it would be much more productive, to be quite honest with you. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you. All right, any other discussion on that? I don't see any hands raised, so, okay, so we're referring that back to staff. Okay, moving on, new business, motion to hold a closed meeting. That the council meeting immediately following this meeting be closed to the public as the subject matter being considered relates to items which comply with the following closed meeting criteria specified in section 90 of the community charter. 1, of a council meeting may be closed to the public if the subject matter being considered relates to or is one or more of the following. A, personal information about an identifiable individual who holds or is being considered for a position as an officer, employee, or agent of the municipality or another position appointed by the municipality. C, labor relations and or other employee relations. E, the acquisition, disposition, or expropriation of land or improvements if the council considers that disclosure could reasonably be expected to harm the interests of the municipality. And K, negotiations and related discussions respecting the proposed provision of a municipal service that are at their preliminary stages, and that in view of the council could reasonably be expected to harm the interests of the municipality if they were held in public. Any discussion on that? I need a mover and a seconder. I've got Councillor James and Councillor Storteboom. Any discussion? Seeing none, call the vote. All those in favor? Opposed? Carries. And adjournment, that the meeting adjourned. I need a mover and a seconder. I got Councillor Bahal and Councillor Storteboom. All those in favor? Any opposed? That carries. Okay, on to our phone call. Thanks, folks.